40 years, this is purely a personal thing, it's got nothing to do with the COP. 40 years ago this year, I was working in the Icelandic fishing industry for quite some time. And I met a whole bunch of different characters in the fishing industry. So what I've done is, rather than sing about any individual, I've put elements of a whole bunch of people and stories into one song. And it's called The Ballad of Herring Charlie. Now, I should just explain something. There's a reference to it in there to one of the Icelandic sagas. Has anybody read the Icelandic sagas?
Yeah.
This is the saga of Egill Skallagrímsson, Egill, the son of Skallagrim. And in that saga, Eric has a conflict with the King of Norway, Eric Bloodaxe. And he gets chucked out. And he goes onto an island, and he takes a horse's head and sticks it onto a pole and turns it to face Norway, and he curses the spirit of the land, saying that the land will not bear or be fruitful until the Norwegian population rise up and kick out King Eric, which they did a few years later. Now, in the 60s, there was a big NATO fleet heading towards Iceland, and the Icelandic peace movement didn't want them there. So they went out onto a peninsula and they stuck a horse's head onto a pole and cursed the fleet, and a gale came up and blew them away from Iceland to Norway. So you'll notice that reference. Anyway, the Ballad of Herring Charlie. How's the time going? Okay. I'll sing about a man I knew when I was young. He'd travel wide, he'd travel deep, and he'd travel long. Not so tall, eyes of blue, hair and blonde and curly. And the name that he went by was Herring Charlie. Herring Charlie knew the clash of North Atlantic foes. He knew where wages come from and where the profits goes. He well knew the hardship of his seaman's life. Thought the ocean and cash struggle were similar kinds of strife. Herring Charlie. He'd stand in the winter North Atlantic, thigh deep in the brine, while away to the net in the gunnels dragged. Way to the net, drag the gunnels down below the waterline. And the killer whales would circle, hoping someone would fall in. Still he'd stand and freeze for hours to make sure the catch was in. Herring Charlie. And when the boat was full and had limped back to port, he'd slave for 15 hours straight to get them herring out. Then he'd stand and hose the blood and guts out of the hold. Cause the working day's not over till all the catch is cold to Herring Charlie. He could ship 20 tons of cod by hand in a day, up off the floor into boards where the guts would cut away. A barely drop of gold would splash into the eyes of the women doing the cutting every day of their lives. Herring Charlie. He was fond of fermented shark and of puddings made of blood and fat, and of sausages made from ponies. On the boats we didn't get that, so he'd shoot dolphins for fresh meat, not for fun. But not when I was there, cause I stuck my finger down the barrel of the gun. Herring Charlie. And at night he'd read the sagas that were so dear to him, and his favourite was the saga of Egilson of Skallagrim. And when some young blokes rigged him some traditional ideas, he hurled his fish by Gatton like a Viking spear. Herring Charlie. Cause he was one of those who stood out proud on Reykjanes to oppose the massive NATO fleet coming from the west. It was his idea to curse the fleet with a horse's head, like Ailish lived on and a gale came up and blew him to Norway instead. Herring Charlie. He'd ridden Icelandic seas from Snæfell's Nest to Húsavík, but it was the cutting shed wall at Mjóifjord brought his artistic streak. He painted a massive peace sign all the harbour could see, 'cause he was a syndicalist and he'd get 'em to agree. Herring Charlie. Herring Charlie was an old-style syndicalist, kept his hatred simmering, bit fond of getting pissed. Still he'd stand and take a blow for you and he'd watch your back. The bike he rode to work on was painted red and black. Herring Charlie. One day as we were packing headed for the UK, the fish was old and yellow, it should have been chucked away. I said I've got kin in England who was seamen too. Why would we send them mishkite that might make their children spew? Herring Charlie. He said, "Djöfullinn taki helvítis enskan maður. Þið veit ekki hvernig góður fiskur smakkar í öllu falli. Djöfullinn taki þá." Which means, roughly, fuck the English, they don't know what fresh fish tastes like. 50 years they stole our fish, now they can have this shite. I was on the gunboat that ran that British destroyer, so fuck the English, fuck their queen and fuck their empire, said Herring Charlie. And come the fishing strike of 1982, we stopped the economy as our labour we withdrew. Charlie slammed his gutting knife into a block of wood, and there it stays until those rich bastards have made good. Herring Charlie. Herring Charlie would have died in poverty. He said a worker needs a worker state to die in dignity. He wanted to die standing, facing the gale and snow. If the killer whales are suckling in the icy seas below. Herring Charlie. Herring Charlie was a man I knew when I was young, a better man than me, but I'll bet no one else has sung his praises. He was just a bloke, but a bloke I raised my drink to, and the kind of bloke I've tried to be like at times when I think to. Herring Charlie.